I come from a small town called Satara, and I have studied in a small school. I was always a bright student in school, very outgoing, uh, performing in all kind of extracurricular activities of the school. And since childhood, my father has ingrained this idea in me that I should work as a public servant and do some community service, and I should be useful for the community. That was always in my mind. I clearly remember the day in our 10th standard when our maths teacher, one Mr. Abhyankar, was asking all of us, what do you want to do after 10? And when I told him that I want to be a public servant and I want to give this public service commission exams, he said, of course you should, and you can be very good officer. And then we will feel so proud that we will call you as a chief guest in the school for the annual day function. Believe me, that ignited the fire in me, that kept me going, that my school feels so proud that they are calling me as chief guest for the annual day function. Eventually, when I was 23, I became a class 1 officer at government of Maharashtra, and I was fortunate to get the chance to work directly at the state level when I was barely 28. I was state in charge for a scheme called Suvarna Jayanti Shahari Rozgar Yojana, which is necessarily a women empowerment scheme for urban areas. And my target was simple, that you get all these women together, form their self-help groups, SHGs, give them training, give them some kind of revolving fund, and they can start their own business, link them to the bank for microfinances, and that's what it is. I think I was achieving my target completely, but I always thought, is it enough? Am I doing the justice? The word empowerment encompasses so many other things. It's not just economic independence or economic empowerment. It comprises of that the women should get a say in decision making in her house. She should be recognized in the society. It also encompasses some facts like it's togetherness. They come together, and by helping each others they progress. All that somehow I thought was missing, and it was always in my mind that I may be getting an outstanding in my appraisals, but I think I was not exactly hitting the core point or missing the point. In 2012, just before Diwali, I got posted in Bruhan Mumbai Municipal Corporation. And to my surprise, many of the staff members also were not aware that there is a department who works for this upliftment of women from socially or financially challenged backgrounds. So I thought this is the time to showcase what exactly our women are doing. And I organized a Diwali exhibition at a BMC's grand building. And not to our surprise, it was welcome with the overwhelming welcome that we got. Our group sold out completely in 4 hours. But the exposure that they got, all those women coming to this building, showcasing their products, talking to who's who, the commissioner, mayor, everyone with confidence. That was I think, what was the takeaway for me from that. I thought this is the missing link. I always thought that something more should be done. If we are not leveraging that to the benefit of women, we are not doing justice to them. And that's how I started exhibitions all across the wards of BMC. And it not just gave them the opportunity to interact with officers and corporators and public representatives, even after the various citizens who used to come to the ward offices. It also helped popularizing our scheme, where many more women came in front saying we want to participate it. How can we avail these benefits? Then came the very upmarket or affluent Kala Ghoda festival. It is very, very well organized, most talked about exhibition. And we just added one simple clause while giving the permission, that 2 stalls will be given free of cost to BMC's SHGs. That made wonders. Our groups got the chance to showcase their products at Kala Ghoda exhibition. It is not about how much money they made. For me, the exposure, the experience that they got was priceless. They got to know what gets sold in the market, what kind of products you need to have, what kind of pricing you need to have, even small little things like what kind of color combinations will look good. All that experiences that these women are getting for last 13 years is priceless according to me. then 2000 cut to 2023, and I came to BMC again with a world completely changed with the presence of e-commerce platforms. Our women were struggling to sell their products on on the various platforms, but now the competition is worldwide, and their products are getting lost in the ocean of products that's available online. So I always thought that there has to be some different platform, dedicated platform for these guys to uh, show their products, sell their products, and that's how this SHG eShop platform came up. It was just a catalyst. We were just a catalyst, but we just got the platform and our women together. They taught them how to click pictures, how to do the inventory management, logistic arrangements, how to adhere to the timelines, all that stuff. And I'm very happy to share that a renowned American foundation working worldwide has just placed an order through this website to one of our groups, and we just finished that consignment. Thank you. Thanks. This I always thought there are urban areas have different. We also have some festivals to get more and more traction to this website. Modak Mahotsav, Puran Poli Mahotsav. That's the Indian sweets basically. And in last March, when we had the sweets Mahotsav, Puran Poli Mahotsav, our SHGs delivered 26,000 Puran Polis in matter of 3 hours, and that's how they earned more than ₹1 million in a span of 1 day. Urban problems are different than rural problems, and we need to have some kind of urban approach, different approach to deal with them. I always thought that there has to be some urban centric initiatives, and that's how this Women on Wheels project came into being. I connected with a auto rickshaw dealer and I said, look, you might get opportunity to sell 50 odd rickshaws, but in return, what we want is you should train these women with driving, also facilitate the licenses and permit procedures. And he agreed. We also connected with the banks, and we negotiated better loan terms, repayment terms. Daily repayment was one term that we got for all our groups. And I think in the eastern suburbs of Mumbai, you can see all these rickshaws running. These women are not just driving these rickshaws, they are driving their lives. Mumbai, I always thought that Mumbai has a beautiful coastline, and there are the original Mumbaikar staying by the coastline. They are called the fishermen community. It's called Kolivade where they stay. And it's a very vibrant, and the Koli cuisine, the Koli culture is very sought after thing. One challenge was thrown on us, that how can we utilize this Koli Vade to help this women from these communities. And that's how the Mahim Seafood Plaza idea was came up. And we trained the women, we got them together, we trained them with hygiene, safety, how to run that business. And for last 2 years, it's running successfully. And we respect their tradition, we respect their culture. While doing this project, we got a very good opportunity in the name of Vikasit Bharat Sankalpa Yatra. There was a segment called Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani, where the beneficiaries would come forward and tell their stories. And few of them got chosen, and every Saturday, Honorable Prime Minister would speak with them across India. I mean, whatever the beneficiaries chosen across India, they would speak. 2 of Mumbai's beneficiaries got selected. One was Meghana Gurau. I'm very proud of her. Meghana is a single mother raising 2 children. And she used to have a small snack stall at a roadside to earn her livelihood. She took all the help of all the various schemes that government was offering, microfinancing, Swanidhi, training, and bank loans. She repaid the bank loans. She started her own catering business, and now she is employing 20 other women with her. Meghana's son, Pawan, has studied hotel management, and he wanted to go to Paris to learn some patisserie or some other courses. And Meghana was telling me, Madam, we needed 8 lakh rupees. It was really difficult for me. I, of course, took the loan from bank. But then, at that time, all these fellow members of all my sisters came in front, and they assured me I am not alone during in this journey, and Pawan will fly high, he will follow his dream. They all chipped in whatever they could, and now Chef Pawan is working in a five-star hotel, and I got a box of handmade chocolate by Chef Pawan. Other story is something that is very close to my heart, is of Kalpana Bai. Kalpana Bai is a transgender. Mumbai has a big community of transgender, which is still at the periphery of the society. There was a trust deficit from both sides, I believe. But somehow when we connected with Kalpana Bai and her team, we told them, you can avail these benefits, you can get this kind of loan, start your own business. And they enthusiastically participated in everything that we, and came their way. They took loans, repaid, and believe me, there are many more loan cycles that have done with Kalpana Bai. When Kalpana Bai came to my office to meet me with her team, she said, Madam, now everybody talks with us respectfully, the bank people, police, the ward staff, everyone. And if we have not got this opportunity, what other choice do we have to beg or go into sex trade? I said, yes, as a society, it's all our responsibility to give every individual a complete opportunity to generate the livelihood, to gain the livelihood with dignity. These two success stories, or this segment of Meri Kahani Meri Zubani, paved way for our next segment, next project called Tichi Yashogatha, her success story. So we selected 52 women who has really done well, who has struggled a lot and created their own niche in the society. And we recorded a 3 minutes video, which we released every single week, every day, on every Saturday on all BMC social media handles. It served two ways. One, it was a pat on the back, who has really struggled, done good job over the years together. And the other, it motivated so many others not to give up, stay strong. So it served two ways. I think I started my story by telling a Kala Ghoda story. I will end it also with Kala Ghoda. And now, since it's 13 years, I don't really look into the day-to-day affairs or, the stall allotments and all. My office takes care of it. And out of nowhere, I got a WhatsApp message one day saying, Madam, thank you very much. Blessings from our heart. And I'm Yogi, the transgender. And we are the group of four transgenders. And thank you for giving the opportunity at Kala Ghoda. We sold products worth 90,000 rupees in matter of 3 days. The next sentence that was written was, now we are no more into begging or sex trade. That day, the joy, the sense of accomplishment, I fall short of words to express that. I think that's what my father has always envisaged when he said, I have to work for the community. 2-3 things that I would like to say as my learnings or your takeaways. Everyone has a spark. All it needs an opportunity to shine. If these women get a small little push, if these women get small support, a little appreciation, I'm sure they are making their own future. They are just begging for this opportunity. The other thing, a universal truth that I came across is, when a woman earns, the entire family rises. When a woman earns even a single penny, she will first spend it on her children's education. So if we are talking about a strong society, a Viksit Bharat by 2047, then the Viksit Bharat 2047 necessarily goes with this Viksit and empowered women. And before I end, I would like to give an honest disclaimer. It's throughout these years, I was thinking that I was helping, or I was doing my job as empowering women. I think it was the other way around, that they have empowered, all these women have empowered me throughout these years. Thank you.